Roman Anthony, 6'3", 195-pound Ole Miss recruit, looks more like a middle linebacker than a baseball player, and he swings it with aggressiveness and true force. He looks all the part of an impact bat with big present power that pairs well with what could be an elite hit tool. Left-handed hitter with the ability to drive the ball to all fields, Anthony delivers an accurate barrel with the ability to impact the baseball.
I'm now joined by one of the best of 2021 at LakePoint Sports, Roman Anthony, Ole Miss commit out of Florida's Stoneman Douglas High School. Roman, man, appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Just a monster 2021 for you on the field. Stoneman Douglas was state and national champions. You had a great summer with the Canes, including a walk-off home run in the MPI semifinals at LakePoint Sports, and there was that 450-foot blast at the high school All-American game at Coors Field. With the year coming to an end now, you've had a little bit of time to sit with it all. What really stands out to you baseball-wise about this past year?
Yeah, no, it's just kind of a result of a lot of hard work and, a lot of sacrifices I had to make over the past years, growing and just working hard. And, obviously it's probably the biggest summer is that summer going into your senior year without a doubt. And so, just kind of working hard and, keeping my head down and pushing through and just knowing that, there's always something you got to work on and there's always room to improve. And so just kind of going through that high school season, being national champs, just never really being complacent, just, on to the next mentality and just trying to get better every day. And so I think that's what, led to the success that I had over that summer throughout that high school season leading into the summer.
I know you moved into the leadoff spot for your high school team, hit 363 with a 514 on base percentage, a 1164 OPS. I know you walked 25 times, got to show off the speed there as well with 26 steals. How much did you feel like that opportunity to be the table setter kind of allowed you to showcase your game in a different way?
Yeah, we had a very talented lineup, as you probably know, last year, and we knew that. And so Fitz was kind of just looking for a guy that, we had a lot of power, and he was kind of just looking for a guy to kind of be the spark plug. And, he put me into the leadoff and just wanted to try some things at the beginning of the season. And I was like, yeah, of course, and I really started to like it, just trying to, either draw my walk, have a good at bat, and just try to get on base and, take a bag or two and just be the spark plug for the team. And I think that was the biggest thing was just, kind of, going from always being, the third or fourth batter, fifth batter, and having to go into the leadoff spot. You got to kind of, sacrifice some RBIs and a couple different things from a hitting side of things. But, it all worked out in the end. And, we trusted the program that Fitz had for us the whole time. And so I think that was the biggest thing is just kind of, trust him and, kind of just give it on to the next guy, pass it to the next man mentality with the lineup we had last year. And that's the reason we kind of had so much success. Nobody was really selfish at all. And that was what led to us, having a lot of success last year.
Did moving to that spot kind of force you to change your approach or your mindset? Because obviously you don't get that extra time in the on-deck circle to kind of see how a pitcher is working against a guy, at least for that first at bat. Did that kind of alter the way that you approach things?
For sure. I mean, yeah, it's really not the same as batting in even the 2 or 3 hole or 4 hole. It's kind of, you got to get up there and, your job as a leadoff hitter is just kind of really to find a way on, that finding a way on or a leadoff walk is just, it's so much bigger than some people, really, think it is. And, just by kind of even leading it off, stealing a base, putting yourself in scoring position with no outs, that's huge. And we kind of started to learn that last year, sometimes even as a hitter with power, you got to kind of use all fields, take your walks, not be selfish, especially in that leadoff position, because, how big it is as a baseball guy, a leadoff run or a leadoff walk that turns into a run in the first inning against a good team or, a big arm, that can be huge sometimes. And sometimes it may take the pitcher a couple hitters to kind of lock it in and really find the zone. And so that's why I was so big in the leadoff spot, to just kind of take what I can get and, run with it, really.
Tell me who's influenced you as a player. I mean, everyone kind of has those coaches that made them better along the way and had an impact on them. But I think we always have those players, whether it's a guy you watch in college or a guy you watch in the pros, that you kind of picked up on some things along the way. Who are those guys that have kind of resonated with you as you've watched baseball from afar?
For sure. I think, the guy that I try to, model my game after is Christian Yelich, being that I'm from South Florida, and when he was in the Marlins and before he had really blown up as like a Brewer and an MVP, he always just kind of reminded me of myself. Really long, lengthy guy, good speed, outfield guy, really smooth swing, lefty swing, carried himself really well on and off the field. You never hear anything about this guy. He's not a real raw guy. And he's definitely a guy that I've always kind of tried to model my game after. And especially, obviously when he went to the Brewers, you kind of saw a different side of him when he won that MVP year. But he's just a guy, it's just reminded me of myself for such a long time.
So you've committed to Ole Miss back in June of 2020. What was it about that program that when you looked at the other programs that were chasing you down, where you said, that's the one, that's the right fit for me?
Yeah, coming into that, going into the freshman year when it first starts to really ramp up, and I was playing with the Canes and seeing all these big guys that are so much bigger and more physical than me that are already committed at, like 14 years old. And we had kind of just gone into it, and it had kind of ramped up from there. And, we had a good amount of different schools coming out and talking to me and whatever. And how it was with all the new recruiting roles. It was kind of tricky at first, but we kind of just wanted to take our time with it. And after that sophomore summer, I think it was, going into that fall, we kind of just wanted to take the fall to, work out and look at some schools and, kind of take our choices down a little bit, maybe like a top 3 or top 4. And Ole Miss was always a place that I was just, the coaching staff and everything you see on video, SEC, but, really the coaching staff, sometimes you could talk to some of these guys and it doesn't really feel like you're talking to like a friend or somebody that's real close to you, but that was never the case with any of the coaching staff at Ole Miss. And they were always great to me. And finally, when I went up there, it's a funny story. We drove to a couple different schools, and we were driving from Florida, going through kind of the Mississippi area before you get to Oxford, and there's just nothing, and it's just trees. And we're like, man, what are we doing from South Florida going to Mississippi? And then finally you get into the town, and it's like, it was just unreal. Everything, the facility, the people, everyone just, the baseball is so huge there. The alumni is so strong. Everything was it was a done deal the minute I got there.
You are currently the 25th ranked player in the class of 2022, 5th among all outfielders. You already had that state and national championships. You mentioned trying to get better for your senior season. How are you approaching what's going to be your last year of high school baseball?
I think, when you win a national championship and a state championship, sometimes it can get tricky to kind of run it back because, sometimes you get, there's always kind of a little bit of complacency every now and then at practice with the team. And, sometimes you drag a little bit and you kind of reflect on last year, or you're like, oh, we won states, whatever. And I think this year, returning so many guys and even getting more guys that are going to play and start, and a couple more arms, we definitely have the talent and the ability to be better. So I think the biggest thing as a senior is just trying to, lead the team to, not be complacent and just, like the little things. And we're lucky to have Coach Fitzgerald, because he does a great job of that with the little things, and just, not being complacent at practice, not taking any reps off, just going out there, whether it's an hour, whether it's 4 hours, just giving it our all for that time. And I think the biggest thing is that, like we saw last year as a team, we were just such a great team, like we bonded together, and we were always hanging out, and we kind of just did it for each other. Like we had going into it, we knew there was going to be a target on our back, 100% of the time. And that's the biggest thing, is kind of just, never really getting complacent, having fun. And like the biggest thing is just, in the end of the day, you got to work hard, but you got to have fun. Once you step in between the lines, the scouts, the coaches, the college coaches, whatever, the fans, you can't control that anymore. You got to just kind of control what you can control. And so that's the biggest thing going into this year, in order to kind of run that back, is just, not being complacent, not worrying about what's outside of the lines or what's on social media, just keeping your head down and pushing through every single game, one game at a time.
Roman, listen, just a huge season for you, and one of the biggest moments at LakePoint Sports that you delivered. So thank you, and wishing you nothing but the best in 2022.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You as well.